Okay, welcome to this week's edition of the NASCAR Blitz. We are back for another year. Woo. One of our most entertaining segments we have here. I'm your host, Jimmy Casey.
Bless your heart.
Yes, you guys are supposed to show up more than once a year.
Tell the guys that aren't here.
I think we see the weak link in the system.
Yes,
we're not here.
I know.
We're flying the missing man.
We are down to 3 on our NASCAR panel. It used to be big.
I don't see the other guys.
Used to be as big as 6 and maybe 7 every now and then.
Yep.
So we got my man Dave Sickles over here.
All right.
We got our expert Dave Stonebreaker. We got me, Jimmy Casey. We got the dead guy, even Mike. It's so bad we had the Mike the Dead Guy for NASCAR segment just to get a little jab, maybe all the car noises in the background.
There it is.
Well, before we break it down for the Daytona 500, let's get through what in the off season. Obviously, we had Jimmy Johnson wins again.
Yeah.
Which has become a same old story, same old song and dance. It has a little more effect with the chase last year because you had a couple cars in there had a shot in the last race.
Oh, good shot at it, yes.
My boy Denny Hamlin, I took the jinx off of him.
Fall apart,
he had a
Denny
shot.
Hamlin?
Yeah. Well, he got closer this year than he ever did. Usually
Absolutely.
I pick him as my champion, and he at least came in, second, right? Or no, Harvick finished second.
He was second.
He was second, and Harvick was the guy that I picked, finished third, so I'm right there. But I'm going to pick.
But going into the last race, everybody had an opportunity, which is what NASCAR was looking for.
Right.
But Jimmy Johnson just seems to know how to run those last 10 races.
Right. Should they shuffle the 10 races up, stir them up a little, rather than finish up with the same thing?
No, they got to do changes incrementally. They can't do a lot of changes at one time. Plus, the owners of those tracks don't want to change up
they don't
what their time zones, right?
Okay, yeah.
Because some guys get the hotel rooms, they get the ticket packages for that race that week. You start messing them all up like they did this year.
Yeah.
They change races around the time slots of when they're going to run certain races.
Right. Now
they not in the chase.
That was one thing they did nice with NASCAR, where the race, what time the race is going to be.
And they don't do that now.
But now someone said they are, and someone says they aren't. Are they going to change on the fly?
Yeah.
No,
it's still 1, 3, 5, and 7?
East Coast, West Coast, night races, 7:30.
No, I heard it wasn't going to be that way this year.
I heard they were going to change it, when the football season started, they were going to make the race 2 o'clock instead of 1.
Exactly. As soon as the NFL comes on, NASCAR is like the forgotten child. It's just...
Yeah.
Has the season become too long?
No, because you still got to do 26 races to square away who's going to be on the top tier, and then a 10 for the chase. I don't know if you can shorten it.
Which actually, now this year, the way to get in the chase has changed slightly, too. So you're going to have your top 10 cars.
And then the top 2 winners of the final, the next 20.
Of
correct?
Event only to the top 20.
Right, just the 10 through 20. Right, the guys that aren't there, whoever's won the most races, the 2 guys get in.
Right, 11 through 20 on points.
Right,
the guys that have the most wins get in as a wild card.
Okay,
yeah,
which would have put Jamie McMurray in last year
because he had 3 wins last year, but didn't make the chase.
Okay,
the year before Kyle Busch would have gotten in.
Yes,
so
now another big change. So we'll just do the change is the point system this year, right? Are they doing the 43 for the first place?
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, how do they handle laps led and stuff? Do you still get points for that?
They get a point for each.
Point for each lap led, you get 1 point?
No.
Or lap leader?
If you lead a lap, you get 1 point. You don't get a point for each lap you lead.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
right.
So you get 1 point for being the lap leader, and then how about leading the most laps in a race? Is that a point?
That person gets a point.
One more point.
Right.
And then you
get 3
Go ahead, Dave.
for winning the race.
Okay.
So you could total 48 points if you
led
a lap,
so you get another
you
get extra points for winning a race. So that simplifies it a lot.
It is so much easier. I don't know why it's taken so long to get to that, because you can sit down here at the end of the race and project next race. That's especially when it comes down to the chase cars and stuff. Okay, well, this car needs to finish. If this guy wins, my guy needs to finish 10th, and he's clear.
Right.
So it just makes it a lot easier. So then the second place car comes in second. He would get 42 points for his.
But I also
finish,
think that
and then he could get the lap led and the most laps, so he could be at 44 points.
With the points too, I think for fan perspective and stuff, and actually gives it a chance with less points there for the win. Then you have a chance to catch up or get back in that mix.
You do, unless you're down in the pack around week 20.
And but I'm saying that final, you have a chance for some of those guys maybe to race a little harder to get into the chase. Like that maybe the 11 through 20, obviously if you're below, You know, what I mean, you got you go on maybe a roll like Kyle Busch does and win a couple races. All of a sudden, you're up there.
Well, if he's 5 points behind, he's got to pass 5 cars.
Right.
He's got his 5 points back.
You can figure that math out while you're racing.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it might add a little more to the race itself.
Even Little League can figure that out.
And some of those guys, you might like one, if you got a guy like maybe a Kozlowski, a young guy. At least when you're watching the race, you have some hope, I think, to get back in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're racing. They're not doing points calculations in their head either. They're at their race.
Right. I don't mean them. I'm more worried about the fan. I'm looking at the guy that watches the race.
A fan can, as long as they have 5 fingers,
they can figure it out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's what you need for some of those guys.
Yeah.
And it's the same for all 3 series. They're going to do them all the same. They don't have to worry about it.
You guys are going to need police escort out of here today. Insulting Little E?
I'm not leaving.
I'm not insulting Little E.
That's just me. I'm driving a black Yukon out there. No bomb.
I walk.
We'll insult Little E later. What other changes do we have? Obviously, the big thing is the nationwide change too. Another change.
That was pretty big. I mean, you have to.
I said that for years. It's like you're not giving the young guy the chance to be an up and coming driver.
So the thing is now the young guy is the point champion and finished 8th in points. How's that make you feel?
Right.
I didn't really win the championship. They handed me a trophy at the end of the year.
Yeah, but see, the guys that are racing, they have to declare what series they're going to race in.
Right.
So the Cup guys go to Nationwide. They race. They get the win, but they don't get any points.
Right.
Mm-hmm. If you looked at the site last night, it showed
they get the money?
race winners. Oh, they get the money.
Oh, yeah, they get the money
for that.
But you know, I mean, a racer wants to go there and beat the best. He doesn't want to go there and finish 8th and be the point champion.
Sure.
I don't care what race you're in. That's not what it's intended to
be. Do you think it would, with the way they're going to do it, it's going to deter the guys from going down, or are they still going to show up because of the sponsorship?
They'll still show up.
They'll still show up. That's their fun money, man. That's the
right.
Well,
I know, and they like to race just so they get used to the track and stuff.
They can feel the track, sure. Any changes?
And like one commentator said the other day, why is Jimmy Johnson so good? Maybe because he doesn't play around with this other stuff. Trucks, Busch cars, Nationwide cars, late model sprint cars.
Because they are a little different. They're different. They set up differently.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The aero package is a little bit different. But something else I saw the other day was when these Cup guys go to practice, they get 6 sets of tires. They have to turn 5 of those sets in after they practice. Mm-hmm. They keep 1 set of tires where they broke them in and stick them, and then they got to get another package the day of the race, and then they prepare them for their cars. Where before they used to keep 3 or 4 sets that were already broken in.
Oh, okay.
Already scuffed.
Now they got to turn them back in except 1 set. So it changes a little bit. There's a little perspective there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really see it changing too much with the Nationwide series. It's you still have the guys come and go.
Yeah.
You'll still have the guys come and go. But it is nice though having some of them Cup guys there. It does bring a little more fan interest. Danica Patrick being in those races is amazing. How that
spikes. Well, you've entered a whole new realm of fan into the crew. I mean, you've entered first of all the women,
which you're bringing more people,
and then now you get the open wheel drivers who like Danica Patrick. Maybe not to go whole hog into NASCAR, but at least watch and maybe give a new light to that type of racing. But I mean,
she has to finish in a couple more top 5s and 10s.
Right,
she's not finishing well.
Half the people tune in to see how good she can do. The other half turn in to see how bad she does.
See what the boys can do to her. See if they can run her in the wall.
That's the way it is.
Yeah. Yep. Now, does she run any? Is she going to run any of the big races at all?
Not that I'm aware of.
She's running the first 5 races, I think.
Yeah, but
I mean, like any of the sprint Cup series.
No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah, not yet.
Need to take a learning curve.
She's got a lot to learn.
She'd have a sponsor to bring her up. She'd have to sign on with somebody else for a couple of races.
Believe me, somebody would sign her on.
Oh, you better believe it.
Somebody would take her.
Jack Roush about 6 years ago gave her a test. Yeah. And said, "I'll hire her as soon as you're ready to come up."
Yeah.
Well, things change. He has too many cars. He had to get rid of a car.
Right.
It's hard to me. It's hard for Danica. She's coming from a series with 20 cars. With a top equipment
that don't race every week.
A series that races every week. Yeah. Everybody's got top equipment.
Yep.
There's twice as many cars. It's harder to qualify. She's not going to be the big fish, and she is fantastic. She's a great racer, but a lot of times ego gets in the way, and if you're going to make the transition, you got to do it.
You got to go all the way.
Just go all the way.
It's
and see what happens.
Some of the Nationwide races, even last year, there were 2 or 3 other women in the race
that
finished higher than her.
Absolutely.
No coverage.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
That girl, I can't think of her first name. Long is her last name.
But everybody,
she
money's on her.
Well. No coverage.
It's almost,
Is
we
it
could go
Carla?
back to your
Yeah.
Earnhardt Jr. thing. She's the name.
Who?
Yeah.
You know, the Junior. She's the name you want. That's
Yeah.
the one they want to win. It's almost like we could compare it to the
she should've
slam dunk
signed-
contest last night.
Yeah.
There was nothing better for the NBA than have that superstar Blake Griffin
Yeah.
win the dunk contest to
Yep.
bring some history back to it and get a superstar in there to win it.
Get some
But you know,
energy back.
I think if
into it.
Danica had signed with somebody besides Little Lee, like JR Motorsports, if she had gone with somebody else, maybe bigger name, a little more money, a little more pull someplace else, she'd be doing better. But they don't have the resources to put Little Lee in a winner's circle. How are they going to do it with her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't we take a quick break and we'll be right back with some more BarberBlitz.com. You out of here, John?